Well, initiatives like Tech4Eva allow for people to come together around an objective, around a mission, in this case, of course, developing new tech for women's health.
And it's about collaborating with other startups, with other organizations, and sharing advice and knowledge.
We can learn so much from each other in this innovation ecosystem, and it's super important to really have that, challenge each other, support each other. There are really so many innovative companies basically addressing different stages of reproductive health or of women's health in general.
Today I was very impressed. They covered everything from motherhood, maternal outcomes, but also menstrual health and menstrual pain, and even mental health. And I think that's amazing to see the diversity.
Supporting women's health is crucial. It's quite surprising to see how little we know about it.
This is important, and not just important for women, but also for us men, and I think everybody should support this movement.
Supporting women's health is supporting everyone's health. We are 50% of the population. Women play an integral role in society in so many different areas, and it's helping everyone, not just women.
There is an urgent need for us to put the women's health on top of our agenda. Together, we can drive femtech.
Hi, and welcome everyone to the opening ceremony of Tech4Eva 2024. I'm really genuinely very happy to see so many of you here in the audience. For every ceremony, there are more and more familiar faces, but I also see that we have new ones, and I want to really say an extra warm welcome to you. My name is Anna, and together with my colleague, the Femtech entrepreneur and Tech4Eva mentor, Jerome Michaud, we will be your hosts for today.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us here in Bern, and for those online, for making this a priority among your very busy lives. And it's so great to be here and actually to witness how year after year this Tech4Eva initiative have embraced more engagement and drove more awareness about women's health. And I would like to thank actually the EPFL Innovation Park and the Groupe Mutuel, the two steering partners, for making this happen and for welcoming us here today.
So why are we actually here? First and foremost, we are here because we will finally reveal the 17 startups that we've been choosing for this year's batch. And I can tell you, those 17 are already winners. We had more than 180 startups applying from 45 countries. So what you will see here on the stage later is really the top 10%. And each and one are really my favorite. But some are so good that I can barely wait to let them meet you and you to meet them. We will also have a panel discussion. We will have a prize that also, of course, makes me very proud to see how we can really gather the whole community to pull in the same direction for women's health. We will get to know even more about the program, what's new for 2024. And of course, we'll also have a keynote speak. But before going into the program, we have a few just household things. So first of all, I've been really looking on prank videos when a person's phone is ringing in the audience. And I think I got pretty good at those pranks. So I don't want to tell you what to do, but if it rings, I would be very happy to pick up that call, and we will have a great time all together. Second thing is that we are recording today. So that means that if you don't want to appear on video or photo, just let my colleagues from EPFL Innovation Park know. For you in the room, there will be plenty of networking time where just come to me and I will direct you to them. For you that are online, you will have the email in the confirmation that you got the link for. So just reach out, and we're more than happy to make sure that we respect your wish. So without really further ado, would you be ready for the keynote speak? I think we can do that once more, just to make sure we really, you know, I know we all are a little bit shy, but are you ready for the keynote speech? Yeah.
That's better.
Wow, that was a great improvement. So I would like to proudly present a speech that will talk about why they are so crucial with strategical partnerships, how to create a development roadmap. And to tell that, we have the team section lead with more than 10 years of experience in R&D for medical devices with us here today. So please give a warm, long hand of applause to Laura Santos-Carreras.
Thank you, Anna, for the nice introduction, and I'm very happy to be here today in this presentation of Tech4Eva. When we were given this opportunity, I thought that it would be useful to leverage the experience we have at Helbling Technique on the development of medical devices to help startups build a robust roadmap and also give a lot of advice on do's and don'ts based on our experience. So when I give the advice about the roadmap, I will use a fictional example I have prepared, and then we will go through these do's and don'ts, and I will close the presentation with 2 examples of Femtech successful startups. So let's start. I will introduce the fictional example. This is Ella, is a successful businesswoman. She has developed a lot of consumer high-tech devices, and she's worried because in her family there is a lot of prevalence of dementia. As you may know, there is twice as many women developing Alzheimer when compared to men, so it will be considered a women's health issue. And she starts looking at possibilities of using technology to prevent this disease. And she comes up with the idea of using brain-computer interfaces for training to prevent the disease or delay its development. She has previous experience with technical development, but not medtech devices, so she comes to us for advice, and we tell her first, please develop a roadmap. A roadmap is super important. It gives you an overview of the task, risk, that we understand how to mitigate them. It builds credibility in front of investors, helps estimating timing and investment as well. She has a very initial idea based on her experience about how it could look like, but she needs help. We tell her first to take the time to build her vision. What is the product she would like to develop, the service, by making a draft of the intended use and the user requirements, making also an analysis of the available clinical evidence. Probably she realizes very fast there is a huge health data gap she has to deal with. She also has to consider her personal challenges, as these, of course, impact the roadmap as well, and make a first hazard analysis and a project risk assessment to understand the patient hazards, if she has to deal with social awareness about this health issue, to make sure that the product will be well accepted by the market. Now that she understands the patient hazards, she may know the classification of the device and therefore understand the regulatory pathway that she should follow, and the clinical evidence that she has to build, how long this clinical investigation will be, if she's going to have recruitment issues, and also include this in the roadmap. She understands the pieces, but she has trouble because she has never been down this road before, and for that it is extremely crucial to build a network of strategic partners that can help you with this development, that can, for instance, clinical advisors that can review the patient hazards, the clinical investigation setting, regulatory experts that review the regulatory pathway, and R&D experts that can help dimension the time and the efforts that are required for this development. Once done this, we can see where we can stop and which are the strategic milestones we need to achieve to unlock the next round of funding. She has done the first exercise. She knows that as intended use, she wants a non-invasive brain-computer interface to reduce the progress of dementia. The patient populations are mainly elderly women, and it is going to be used at home. And there are main challenges she has to address: the lack of clinical evidence, not enough data for her training of her algorithm, signal quality, because there is interference with the hair, so it's much more challenging to apply this device on women, and many usability aspects like the independent use at home and elderly patients adopting this new technology. Now she needs to put this in a timeline. Where to start with that? She can use the medtech product design and development process as basis. This gives a very good basis for quality, gives design reviews, formal design reviews for the design control, but it's not strategic because it's a process and it will fit all the applications. To be able to understand what she has to prototype first, what she has to test first, she needs to apply something else. And for that, what we suggest is always to address the highest risk first. As you may know, along the project, the costs always go higher because there is more people involved. There are more parts of the system that are developed. There are interconnections, interdependencies between them. So one change may lead to modification of other parts of the system, increasing the costs. And of course, the worst case will be to recall the devices that are already in the market. So we want, of course, to avoid that. Also, try to use off-the-shelf whenever possible, so don't develop things that are existing, and build prototypes with a purpose. It's not necessary always to increment functionality, but address the functionality that has the higher risk first. Try to combine the milestones and test if possible to reduce as well costs. She tries to make this exercise. She has the technical issues she is going to address with a proof of concept prototype. In the meantime, she makes a clinical evaluation based on literature review. And if she's satisfied with the proof of concept, she's going to develop investigational devices that she will use for making a clinical trial to acquire data, first with healthy subjects and then with patients. Also use this test with patients to address usability issues, and so on. So we can see she's in the right path. We are going to stop here with the fictional example. I'm going to move now with the collection of do's and don'ts that we have learned from our previous experience working with startups. The do's are mainly a summary of what I said already. Define a roadmap and update it. Keep it certain flexibility to counteract unexpected challenges that may come afterwards. We will see in one of the successful examples that this is key sometimes. Use this roadmap to estimate the resources that you need. Communicate this roadmap to your investors. Choose your angels. Once again, having a strategic network is key. Take advantage of what Tech4Eva is giving you today. This is a really nice opportunity to partner with strategic regulatory experts and R&D partners, clinical advisors that understand the hurdles of MTech development. Understand your target patients and users is key for product acceptance, but also to ensure and guarantee safety. And now I will go through the don'ts. First one seems very logic, but we have seen many times that the startups try to apply design control retrospectively. So design control is not only about documenting a design. We have seen this mainly in software medical devices, where the software has already all the functionality, but when we make the gap analysis, the architecture is a mess or is not testable, is not well documented. Third-party libraries are used without a risk analysis, and then it has to be developed from zero. Similarly, don't leave pre-compliance test for the end. So if it is an electrical device, consider the 6601 as soon as possible in the design input requirements. And as soon as you have prototypes try to address the most conservative tests first to reduce cost. At Helbling, we have ended up building an anechoic chamber for RF testing as soon as we have prototypes, and we have seen it really pays off on the long term, especially for devices that have very big volumes. Don't be over-conservative. If you are always prepared for the worst case, it might be that you scare investors and you design something that is overcomplicated and costly, and you have then difficulties to discern the severity of the risks and the priorities. And also, don't get lost on the woods. Keep your main value internally in the company. Try to delegate what is not the essence of your added value. And be careful with low-hanging fruits. It might be tempting to do something and deviate a little bit from your focus, but always evaluate if it is worth it. Now I will go to the examples of successful femtech companies. I'm very happy to be able to talk about Aspivix because it was in the cohort of Tech4Eva, and also because Helbling has collaborated in this development. They are developing a surgical device to stabilize the cervix during IUD insertion and without pain compared to existing devices. So they had a list of main challenges, and they did some strategic moves on their roadmap to overcome them. First one is that they are 3 male founders in women healthcare, and for that they try to secure gender balance as soon as possible. Lack of funding, this is very general to femtech applications. For that they adjusted development efforts, secure grants when the venture capital was not available, and reduce the clinical trial cost by partnering with research institutes that could initiate the trials on their end. They also had to lead with COVID, and then the clinical trial was taking too long, so they started the design for manufacturing in parallel to reduce time to market. With the new MDR coming, they decided to modify their roadmap and tackle FDA market first. And they had a very big challenge that was the lack of consideration for patient pain and pain management. For that, they really had to build patient awareness with social media to make sure that this device was going to be purchased by the gynecologist. We can see now their roadmap. So they were incorporated in 2015. In 2020, since the clinical trial was not ending, they started industrialization of their product. And when they had very positive results with the clinical trial, they secured Series A funding of 3.8 million for market authorization and market launch. That also allowed them to increase their team, and with that secure the gender balance that they were seeking. Now, as a second example, I wanted to propose something that was fully digital. Just for full disclosure, we haven't worked with the Clue app, but I thought it was an interesting example. Besides, it was founded by Ida Tin, who is the mother of the term femtech, and she reviewed the slides, so I'm pretty secure that, that they are good. Main challenges they had to overcome is the health data gap. There was a lack of initial clinical evidence of fully software-based birth control app. For that, they launched a period tracking app for free first. This allowed them to gather a lot of data that they have leveraged to partner with clinical research institutes that have helped them build all this clinical evidence they were lacking. They also used that free app to understand their users, what they needed, what they prefer, the retention rates, and make it better. They had to put a lot of effort on data security and emphasize that they were only using this data for anonymized research and that they were not selling it to third parties. And they had to deal also with funding issues, of course. And for that, they tried always to release one feature at a time. As we will see in their roadmap, they were founded in 2012. They first released the tracking app for free that used to gather the data. Afterwards, in 2017, the first paid version. And from that, they started releasing features more related to health issues, like irregular cycles, pregnancy features, until they got FDA approval on 2021 and CE marking on 2023. So this is all on the presentation today. I don't know if there is still time for questions, but I'm happy to answer if you have one. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you. And yes, we can take the questions potentially during the break. We have a very busy agenda. But thanks a lot for sharing your precious insights on how to structure the development of your medtech or digital therapeutics. And actually, very much like that you brought the Aspivix example as a Tech4Eva alumni. And if we have investors in the room, they are still looking for to close their Series C round. So please show up if you're interested. And I liked as well, one paradigm which is very important for entrepreneurs is, as you mentioned, it's looking very much about structuring your product development roadmap. And I think one thing that sometimes we try to miss is that at the start of your project, of your startup, that's where you're at the most predictable stage. Because as you explained, there's a very structured way of thinking about the consumer needs, about thinking about the feature that you need and how you get started. As you go along the side, that's where things come to be less predictable. So really insisting on that is very important, and thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Laura. And it's my now pleasure to welcome Lan Zuo Gillet on stage with me. Lan is the managing director at the EPFL Innovation Park. She has been leading this initiative since the first time in 2021. She's an InnoSuisse expert and leading as well multiple other programs at EPFL Innovation Park, including the Tech4Growth. So Lan, you'll share with us a few things about what has been achieved in the past thanks to this program and what we have reserved for 2024. So floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jerome, for the nice introductions. Good afternoon, new friends of Tech4Eva, here online and in Bern, the capital of Switzerland. And also very nice to talk again, our strong supporter of Tech4Eva that have been following us for a couple of years. So it's my great pleasure today here to officially kick off this fourth edition of Tech4Eva and also to unveil the selection of 2024. So for those of you who do not know us very well yet, so first couple of words about Tech4Eva. It is a femtech startup accelerators with a mission to create an innovation platform in Switzerland for disruptive femtech startups worldwide to team up with forward-looking industrial partners and to advance technology for women's health. This initiative is jointly created by two founding partners, as you heard, EPFL Innovation Park and the Groupe Mutuel. EPFL Innovation Park is one of the leading science parks in Switzerland, hosting about 200 companies, out of which 26 large corporations. And EPFL Innovation Park is known for its track record to bring high-tech startups to success. Groupe Mutuel is a leading Swiss insurance companies. They have more than 1.3 million of individual customers, as well as over 20,000 corporate customers. So they are known for their knowledge and network in the Swiss healthcare systems. So the accelerator was built on the 4 pillars. It is equity-free, it's open to worldwide startups, and it is based on a very strong partnership with numerous corporates, and it leverages the resources of the Swiss startup ecosystem as well as some foreign ecosystems. So the 4-month program offers a variety of activity, including industrial-based workshops, including large conferences and demo days. We organize international roadshow for startups to get exposure to international customers and investors. and we help to build partnerships and to meet investors. And we offer one-to-one mentoring with each startups, and also peer-to-peer session with all the CEOs within the cohort. So if we talk about what we have done and what we have achieved during the past 3 years, we can mention, first of all, 7 startups that we have accelerated. And we can also proudly mention the 180 million funds combinedly raised by the Tech4Eva alumni of the past 3 years. And then we have got on board over 20 institution partners, and also 40 plus experts and mentors, together with over 300 speakers, all to the benefit of the startup ecosystems as well as its community. And all this with only very small team, operating team of 2 full-time equivalent. So we have been working very hard to try to promote and to work for the cause of women's health and to establish ourselves in the global pharmtech space. And now we are very happy to see that Tech4Eva has been known for its quality program as well as for the quality of mentor we're getting on board. And thanks to all these marketing partners, we are able to reach out to startups community around the globe. And these marketing partners, as you can see here, they are international VCs, they are local angel investor group, they are women-related associations, industrial professional clusters, as well as Switzerland's outpost for science technology in foreign countries. Now, looking at applications, it has been in a steady growth since the beginning. And this year, we reached a record number of 189 applications coming from 45 countries. And the majority of them, as you can see, the founders are women themselves. Now, if we look into the split of all these pharmtech solutions, we can see some of the market trends from our application companies. There are quite a lot of companies this year in the women's wellness and general health space. I think it is mainly because of the raising awareness of women's health about the importance of women, and also they are seeking solutions to have the well-beings. And also, I guess, it's also because that in this space, most of the solutions are self-tracking apps or monitoring, training apps, or nutrition, etc. So it's a relatively low technology based, so it creates a low entry barrier for the entrepreneurs who would like to enter the pharmtech space. And there are also quite a big portion of application in reproductive health, maternal health. These are the traditional pharmtech space. And we noticed that there are increasing number of solutions in the oncology for women-specific cancer, for instance, cervical cancer, breast cancer, etc. There are still some solutions for the early stage and later stage of woman life cycle, for instance, menstrual health and also aging, menopause, etc., but they are lesser proportions. Regarding the technology solution type, there are a lot of mobile and customer apps, and followed by diagnostics, consumer products, etc. We notice also quite many projects are now using AI and also data analysis to enhance the health diagnostics, etc., which corresponds to the trends of the market in other industries. If we look into the origin of this application solutions, we can see that nearly half of the application come from Europe, including UK, and 20% from USA. So with all these a great number of applications and around the globe, with a very small team, we cannot have the manpower to serve everyone and to cover all the regions. This is why we make the choice this year to focusing only in global south countries, meaning that these are the country where the healthcare system is well developed, as Switzerland. And we also feel that we can bring effective help to these startups because we know better the ecosystems, and also we are very well connected in this space. As Tech4Eva clearly has the strength of tech-driven startups, accelerators. So, and as we are very close linked to university, linked to pharma and the medtech companies, so we give priority this year to the startups with tech-driven, with a lot of tech components. And of course, as the accelerator was designed to help go-to-market and fundraising, we prioritize startups in the scaling phase, which means more mature, to be more effective, to benefit from the help of our accelerators. So, with all these conditions and all these constraints, we finally selected 17 startups from 11 countries. And this is a very hard decision to take because there are so many very good innovative projects. You can see from the selections there are more companies from USA, UK, and Switzerland. Actually, it reflects quite the leadership position of US, UK in the pharmatech space, and I hope Switzerland will follow in the coming years. So, congratulations to all the 17 startups that are joining our accelerators. Congratulations, because you are joining a core team of our vibrant communities. You will be able to help each other, and you were also given the visibility and get the opportunity to talk to investor and the customer in different locations that we organize for you. I must say, for those who are not selected, I would like to express our deep appreciation for your trust and your interest in our accelerators. Actually, this is only a question of maturity and also of a question of time. We highly encourage you to continue to develop your projects and to work hard in this pharmatech space, and we really hope to see you next year or in the coming years. And for those startups coming from global south countries, we are going to organize the meetups, online meetups, and to help you to connect with each other and help each other. We have noticed there are quite many solutions are solving the similar challenges in your regions. So really believe that the peer learning and resource sharing could make also impact in your area. So we're going to organize these meetups in parallel to our Startup Accelerator activities. Now, finally, a couple of words about the selection projects itself. We have selected apparently more projects in the oncology, women-specific diseases and prevention area, as well as a little bit more in the reproductive health areas. This is mainly because these projects are more developed and also tech-driven. Now, what we are going to do for this 2024? Firstly, we are going to continue to our accelerators activities, which means help connect with investors, go to market, and build partnership. And we are also going to try to measure and achieve a communicate impact, which means together with startups of Tech4Eva, we'd like to try to facilitate access to the basic and timely healthcare, and we'd like to also help to lower the barrier to financial barrier to this access, and we'll also try to provide alternative way of treatment so that to ensure a better outcome, and also try to improve at our degree of freedom and knowledge, improve the systems and environment so to achieve better health equity. We are also going to enhance corporate engagement, which means that we are identify opportunities to bring startups, femtech startups, to the companies and to promote well-being in the workplace, and also to encourage corporates to consider femtech solutions as a company benefit to their women employees. Finally, we are also approaching a couple of healthcare providers and try to integrate some of the femtech solutions as, into the healthcare and the patient journey. So we are looking for pilot partner among the healthcare providers for this year. And we have prepared all the mentorship team to achieve all these goals. These mentors coming from as executive corporate, for instance, from SCT, Ferring, Merck, Helbling, PwC, Procter & Gamble, Philips, etc., etc. They all bring their industrial expertise into the mentoring team. And we are also getting on board some investment professionals. They are coming from investment firms, joint partners, Perios, Bio Ventures, Nina Capitals, Amboy Street Ventures, Real Venture, etc., etc. And we have also successful entrepreneurs, experienced ones, and with accredited coach from Swiss Innovation Agency. They are also joining forth about their business know-how. And last but not least, we have a group of industrial experts and also Swiss ecosystem experts are there to help you to connect with the relevant people, find the funding opportunities, and for business development in Switzerland. This year, for the mentorship, we offer 2 levels of mentorship. Each startup is going to have a one mentor to follow them up all along the program, and they are going to have regular meetings with the mentors. And at the same time, each startup has opportunity to request a meeting with the mentors and experts in our large pool of experts. We are going to also organize peer-to-peer CEO sessions monthly, so that every time 2 or 3 startups can come to share their business challenges and get input from their peer colleagues. And we, depending on the topic, we are going to also invite some of the mentor and experts to come to give advice and help solving business challenges. As usual, we try to do our best to give maximum visibility to the Tech4Eva startups. We are organizing events within the international femtech-related activities in Paris from Vivatech, and in Munich for the SCT Startup Days, and also in Bern here for the Startup Day Switzerland, where Tech4Eva projects can have some visibility and meet potential investors. We're also going to organize international investor meetup online in the second part of the program. We are very proud now, with the growing momentum and the visibilities, we are getting startup companies counted us offering support and seeking for further partnership. Here are some examples. Sigma, a leading Swiss-based Security Inc. company for banking notes, and also they are the provider of security authentication and traceability solutions. They contacted us on the International Women's Day to offer cash support for the programs, and they're also willing to host startup roadshow within their with their women employees to promote well-being and health at workplace. Promotion Santé Suisse. This is a private foundation, but has the mandate of Swiss Confederation and insurance companies. They offer to host a startup Tech4Eva roadshow with corporate HRs in Switzerland to promote women's health at workplace. That could also offer great opportunity for our startups to have the corporate customers. And Debiotech, a Swiss company, the spin-off from a Swiss pharma company, Debiopharm, is specialized in designing complex medical devices for regulated market. And they also contacted us to offer worth of 100,000 Swiss francs of support for farm tech product development. And we are pleased to have their CEO today here to present the offer later on. So, we are ready for this new edition of 2024, and with the rich resources that we're getting on board, and also fast-paced activities planned, here I ask the commitment of the selected startup founders. We expect you to make a big progress at your best effort during these programs. And we are also expecting you not only benefit from the support provided, but also offer your own support to your colleagues, to your environment, also to Tech4Eva itself to increase the visibility, get it to know to your others, and bring more investors to our communities. And we here also invite all of you, supporters of Tech4Eva, individuals or companies, NGOs, foundations, family office, etc. We invite you to make a contribution to this great cause for the women's health, and to bring your knowledge, to bring your in-kind support, and even better, to bring monetary support for us to grow, so that we can serve more companies in the world, not only for the women's health in global north countries, but also women's health in the global south regions. Because the health of women is of particular concern, because it affects both the present and the future generations. So thank you very much in advance. Now we'd like to hand over to the CEO of Debiotech, Laurent-Dominique Piveteau, to talk about the prize and announce the winner.
So thank you very much. Thank you, Lan, for this very kind introduction. So I'm delighted to present today for the first time the Debiotech Prize, and this will be awarded to one company of this new 2024 cohort. Well, why such a prize? Well, on one side we have Debiotech, which is a company which for over that 30 years has been working to improve the quality of life of patients through innovation, and this in the field of medical technologies. On the other side, we have Tech4Eva, which strives to promote, support, help, accelerate, I like this word quite a lot, and advanced technology for an important cause, and that has been quite often been neglected by the industry, this women's health. Another aspect is that Tech4Eva is an important Swiss player, well, with a global reach. It's Swiss and global at the same time. And for us, it's very important as a company to support this local network and to promote this local network toward the outside. So when we started to discuss about such a prize, for us, it was quite evident to do that with the Tech4Eva program. So what does this prize involve? Lan, you already described it rapidly. So it's 100,000 Swiss francs worth of support by our engineering team. As I said, we do development of medical devices and will support one of these projects for their next step. So what were the selection criteria? We have been looking for a project that was in line with the values that have been driving Debiotech for the last 30 years. There are three aspects. One is technological innovation. Then it needs to have an impact on patients' life. And also, last but not least, it needs to have a real market potential. So the team of Tech4Eva selected or invited a few companies, part of this 17 crowd, to apply. And then we had interviews with all of them. I have to admit that the choice was complicated, because it was a very, very nice group of companies. And after some intense internal discussions, really intense, between the different members of the jury, we decided to award the prize to Ablatus and Looi. So if you can join me and maybe say a few words about your project.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so incredibly humbled by this, and thank you for choosing us. I hope we will have a fantastic collaboration. Exactly. We will. It's not a choice, absolutely. Actually, but thank you so much. It will be wonderful. Look forward to that. Thank you. We too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much to Debiotech. Thank you so much for all the startups that, even if they were not selected, I know they invested a lot of time in the interviews. And with that, I'm very proud to slowly move on to where we're really gonna get to know the startups that we have selected. As I said before, this is really the top, less than 10% are chosen. And it's a little bit of a tricky moment for me, because I would like that each startup could present you 10, 15 minutes. But that would mean we will stay here all the way until tonight, and we haven't paid for the room. We prefer to invest in the startups and in the support, not in the room. So we won't be allowed. And it will also be slightly long for all the ones that are joining us online. So it's a 2-minute pitch, and it's really a 2-minute strict. And I will be as strict as I can, as almost to the limit of mean, but with a smile on my face, and cut them short. So just for your startups that are with us online, and also the ones that will be here in the room, when there is 30 seconds left, I will make a little 30-second sign. And when the time is out, the time is really out. For the first 9 startups that we're gonna present now, I love to see the variety. I mean, you will see some startups that are solving very complex academic issues that are really important, and you will see others that solves problems that could be seen as basic, but because they are still problems, they have to be solved. And I would like to just put in a little surprise problem to be solved, not for the batch of Tech4Eva, but overall, just an example to show how much women's health matters. I'm a mother, I'm a pumping mother, which means I need a room to pump my milk every day at work. I see many nodding faces, so I think a lot of women in the room recognize it. Here today, I was asked twice to do that in the toilet. And this is a problem. Like, the people here are super friendly. They didn't do anything to be mean, but we have to express our needs. And unfortunately, the generation of my mom didn't express it well enough, so now it's our turn to do it. So I just want to send that to, like, even if you are not wanting to solve the big problems, like we will hear now from the startups, join us by just express what you need, what you miss in the market, and then we together can bring the solutions. So with that being said, I want to hand over to Hormona that are really trying to improve how we look at hormonal health. Do we have Hormona with us online?
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect. So my strict 2 minutes will start right away. Perfect. So,
hi everyone, I'm Jasmine, CEO and co-founder of Hormona. We are empowering women to live better and healthier lives through taking control of their hormones with the help of AI and at-home testing. Next, please. Hormonal health sits at the very center of women's health, impacting every aspect of our life on a daily basis. Today, 80% of women suffer from hormone-related conditions, which in turn affects our menstrual, reproductive, and menopausal health, as well as our general well-being. But the biggest problem of all is that hormonal conditions are impossible to diagnose with a one-off blood test. Next, please. Combining an individual's hormone test data with logged symptoms and cycle data in the Hormona app, we offer the world's first end-to-end solution for hormone health. Hormona is creating a hormonal baseline that medicine will be working off of. We will literally change how we practice medicine and provide a much-needed breakthrough in women's health, which until now, you all know, has been understudied, underutilized, and underfunded. Next, please. Hormona is revolutionizing hormone health through AI and at-home testing. Thanks to our patent-pending innovative tests, women can easily measure, track, and optimize their hormone levels from home. Our easy urine tests are the first non-invasive quantitative at-home hormone test, testing the most essential biomarkers for hormone health. You simply dip the test in your urine sample, scan it with the Hormona app, and receive your test results within 15 minutes. Next, please. Over the last 3 years, we have invented and developed 3 quantitative hormone tests, one for estrogen, one for FSH, and one for progesterone, that are the first of their kind. Together with our proprietary algorithm that uses an individual cycle data, the app indicates to each user which day to take what test. This fully personalized experience is designed to build a woman's individual hormone baseline over 3 months, giving her an easy and affordable way to manage any hormone concern. By creating an individual baseline, we can proactively detect any abnormal test values immediately, reducing the time to diagnosis while also improving treatment options. Next, please. Together, we can change the future of women's health. Come and be part of our journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we will straight away continue and go to Care and Next Innovations that really are simplifying how we are working with pregnancy monitoring.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Dr. Aditya Kulkarni. I'm CEO of Care and Next Innovations. At Care and Next, we have developed Cindy Colpo, which is an AI-based solution for instant diagnosis of cervical cancer. Next slide, please. We are developing a screening tool for cervical cancer because in lower and middle income countries, early screening of cervical cancer remains to be an issue. And cervical cancer is the second most prominent reason why women die. Rate of screening should increase in order to early detect it and prevent it. Next slide, please. Even though there are sophisticated methods which are based on lab in order to screen cervical cancer, those require lab-based setup and which are not available everywhere, especially in remote and tribal areas. Next slide, please. When we spoke to a lot of doctors and hospitals, we learned that we need an instant diagnosis tool which can be used by even a non-skilled person, which should not require any clinical or laboratory setup and should be able to give insights for the expert in order to monitor it remotely when they are not present. Based on all these insights, next slide, we have developed a handheld device. Next slide, please. We have developed a handheld device which clicks the images of the cervix and within minutes can screen those images and produce a report which talks about whether you are having a cancerous lesion or not. This has been patented and we have done clinical trial at one single facility. As a next step, we are undergoing multi-centric clinical trials. Next slide, please.
So 30
we are
seconds
undergoing multi-centric clinical trials and hopefully should be able to launch it by early next year. Next slide, please. In terms of competition, we are unique in the sense that it does not require any consumable and it can be handy so that even a non-skilled person can use it. We also enable remote connection with the expert so that in needy situations, they can consult. Next slide, please.
So I will be the mean girl now, and I will have to cut you off because we are unfortunately for about 2 minutes. But please come back and you can read more on the Tech4Eva website. Thank you so much for your pitch. So now I will make my presentation shorter and shorter, and that's why I will save some time and we just directly move on to CC Diagnostics.
Okay, hello. My name is Ronald Vos and I'm the CEO at CC Diagnostics, where we work on improving cervical cancer diagnostics. Next slide. Here you see my wife and me, global and personal problems with cervical cancer screening. There's low performance, 76% of cancers only detected, 76. Then there is this participation, 15%, and that's why the picture. We are happy, in love, you can see. We love horses, you can see. You can't see that she has endometriosis. And for that reason, does not want to participate in invasive sampling anymore. She's had enough. Next slide. So what is the solution that we bring? Well, it's called the MEFCA kit, which is a PCR test, a quantitative PCR test. And we actually detect damages in DNA that can lead to cancer. So in cancer detection, from the 76 goes up to 97%. What is also important, we're compatible with all currently used samples, so including self-sampled samples. A reason now for my wife to participate again, because she can do it in the privacy of her home. Next slide, please. The team, well, it's a right mix of passion, knowledge, and experience with me, of course, as the older guy. Nutte, Jolien, Ilinka, and Ronald. Next, please. Global impact on health economics per year that we can bring in dark blue current screening, in light blue MEFCA-based screening. Missed cancer cases, 145,000 down to 18,000. From 6 minutes to 1 minute hands-on time per test, and 700 million in saving for missed cancer cases alone. Next, please. So we're currently looking at an investment of roughly 1 million. Where are we going to use the funds for?
30 seconds
to
left.
Expand the minimal viable product sales in the US, to discuss and collaborate with strategic partners on a global level, and of course to finalize the clinical studies, the clinical performance studies that we're doing for IVDR submission. Once again, we thank the organization for having us in here, and we're open to any questions after the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we are moving on straight to Calico Biosystems.
Hi everyone. Good afternoon to everyone, and very happy to be part of this cohort. And at Calico Biosystems, we are predicting life-changing drugs for cancer patients. And we are addressing the very critical issue of the poor efficacy of therapeutics for cancer patients. Next slide, please. So breast, lung, uterus, and colon cancer represent 60% of cancer in women. And sadly, they kill 1 in 6 women. But did you know that only 10% of patients benefit clinically from approved drugs, and that female patients are more vulnerable, that 95% of newly developed drugs will fail to reach approval due to a lack of efficacy. Despite each one of these drugs costs $1 billion to develop, and this market represents more than $20 billion per year. So why is that? Next, please. It is because the model system that we use at preclinical stage to assess the efficacy of cancer therapeutics are very artificial, and they fail to reproduce the complexity of patient tumor. Moreover, they are mostly focused on Caucasian males. So at Calico Biosystems, we change this paradigm, and we test drug now on patient tumor, and not only on male, but also on female patient tumor. And because we test drug directly on patient tumor, we can reliably predict drug efficacy in patients. With Calico Biosystems, drug development is better, faster, and cheaper. And we can provide each individual patient with the best drug or the best combination of drugs. Next slide, please. This is our team. I'm very proud to be part of this team, composed of key stakeholders of the public and private sector who support our business. Thank you.
So now we will move on to a solution that is about trying to use the saliva for ovulation test. So please give the stage to Baby Index.
Right. Thank you very much. Sorry for my voice, I'm a little bit sick. So Baby Index, next, please. It's my father and myself on this picture. My father is a gynecologist. He has been treating women with infertility for over 50 years. And he had this problem that women had to go home and try for 1 year before they were included in programs, in fertility programs. And luckily, he was happy to see that there is a proliferation of fertility testers. But there is another problem. These testers, the vast majority of them, show the day of ovulation and not 2 days before, which is the day when the likelihood of pregnancy is the highest. Next, please. The best biomarker is cervical mucus, because this opens the gateway for sperm to swim in. And this happens 2 days before ovulation, when it's the most adequate for getting pregnant. And there is one other thing, biomarker, is the saliva, which corresponds to the changes in cervical mucus, because it's the same body. And there has been a test on the market for over 50 years. This is the saliva ovulation test. You can take a small microscope, put a little saliva on a lens, look inside. On picture 4, you see crystals, saliva crystals. What we did is that you can hold the microscope against the camera of your mobile phone, and you can see the results because it's analyzed in the cloud. Next, please.
30 seconds left.
Okay, so these are the advantages. It's early detection of the fertility window. It shows the most fertile day when pregnancy is the highest. It's convenient, and it can increase the chances 3 to 5 times compared to the day of ovulation. Next, please. Last year, we received a US patent, and we are very happy about this, because this is a really reliable solution. Saliva test has been there around for decades, and it's also reusable, and it's innovative. Next, please. This is
so unfortunately, I will be the mean one again,
okay.
Which is a role I don't like to play, but thank you
That's
so
fine,
much.
That's fine. Thank you very much for your attention.
And again, all the startups you will find on the Tech4Eva website, so you can really connect with the ones that are interesting you the most and continue the discussion. The two coming presentation now, we have the startups in the room. So first of all, I'm very happy to present here on the stage Hero Support, that with 3D printing are really changing how we can better improve radiation. So please come up, and as soon as you're ready, you can start.
Good afternoon, I'm Giovanna Di Pasquale. I'm the CEO of Hero Support. We produce immobilization devices, personalized 3D printing for improving cancer treatments. And we start with breast cancer. Next, please. So, as a medical physicist, we work with radiation because we kill cancer cells, but we also kill healthy cells. So we have to take care when we treat breast cancer to avoid the lung and the heart. And today we treat actually with the patient lying on a back, with the breast flattened on top of the thorax. So why don't we treat with the breast hanging through a cutout when the patient is lying on a table, putting distance between the breast and the healthy tissues? Well, because it's difficult to us to position in a reproducible way from one session to another the breast. So I thought, if one day I have cancer, this is the way I want to be treated. So let's come up with a solution. And actually, this is the solution. Thanks to our technology and devices, we can produce a piece that fits the cutout, and so that the table adapts to the patient and not vice versa. We have proven that this solution works very well on 20 patients, and we are already working with some hospitals, and we have several who would like to work with us. Next, please. And how we're going to do this? Well, we have set up a growing team of people who all believe and have experience in radiation therapy, and we have set some collaboration starting in Switzerland, specifically with Zurich and Geneva University. Next, please. So I heard that we have to think of developing countries, so I changed my ending. Maybe you don't know that for every 100 women that die of breast cancer and cervical cancer in developing worlds, between 10 and 30 child will die in the next 2 years. So please help us to fight cancer, not only in Europe, but worldwide. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And what a great example of a solution that is so simple, yet has such a big impact, just really by turning from back to belly. Now we will again welcome up our representative from Luna on the stage that will talk more about how we treat, how we really can improve how we treat the fibroids. So please come up and join me here on the stage.
Thank you very much, Anna.
And as you know, I mean, they already made a great impression on the Debiotech, but I'm very happy that now, knowing that you can also hear the normal pitch and to hear what made them win the prize.
Thank you, no pressure then. Hi everyone, my name is Looi and I'm the CEO of Ablatus. Very proud to be presenting to you our first product, Luna. I see there's some changes to the font, but sorry about that. First of all, we're here to change the way we treat fibroids. And we have developed, so actually, we're very proud, we're a women-led team based in Cambridge in the UK. We have developed a patented enhanced ablation technology. I know it's very mouthful, but basically, we're using radio waves to generate heat and to use that to barbecue soft tissues like fibroids, which are tumors. So next slide. So fibroids, as mentioned, they are tumors that grow in the womb. So some of you may have heard about it because it affects up to 80% of women. We know 4 billion people on this planet are women, so it affects up to 80% of women, and about half of them go on to develop horrible symptoms like periods for up to 21 days per month, and that's horrible for fertility, productivity, and quality of life. And 80% wish to avoid invasive surgery. However, 80% are not eligible for the nearest state-of-the-art technology. Next. And that's the reason why we're very excited to be bringing Luna by Ablatus, which allows us to have a flexible ablation, so flexible barbecuing of these tissues that could be growing anywhere in the womb, so that we could treat hard-to-reach fibroids across anatomies, making it more inclusive for women globally. So this way, we could also preserve the uterus and also fertility. Next. So we're always looking out to speak to investors and also partners within the ecosystem to make this a reality. So I look forward to meeting all of you later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So now we have 2 more startups that we're going to get to know before going on a 15-minute break. And the first of the 2 ones that we will get to know is EndoCure, that are really changing how we treat endometriosis. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So EndoCure is all about impacting the lives of 200 million women worldwide during their lifetime. And I don't see the crowd, but I remember there are many women there, and we all suffered once in a while from pain during our period. For 10% of us, this pain is unbearable and does not allow to live the life we desire. Next, please. So endometriosis is a real condition associated with chronic debilitating pain and infertility, where women are suffering for up to 11 years until they are diagnosed with the disease. Next, please. So the problem is that disease is caused by lesions so small they are invisible in any imaging modality. And 75% of the patients experience misdiagnosis, being told it's in your head. Next, please. Our solution is all about making the transparent apparent using innovative robotics, producing 100 times higher resolution than MRI. With our robotic system, we produce objective imaging with an standard ultrasound system, having 10 micrometer resolution, enabling detection of 1 millimeter lesions. Finally, we use AI computer vision algorithm to find the very, very small needle in the haystack. Next, please. We had a very successful first proof of concept in endometriosis mouse model, where you can see the arrows point on 2 very, very small lesions. For example, in the right side, you see the bladder of the mouse that is 5-6 millimeter in size in relation to the small lesions that are invisible today. Next,
30
please.
seconds.
So all that is left for you is to join our amazing team who is willing to make this a reality. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we have one last presentation before the break, and they will present Ovula Ring, which is a really sophisticated cycle tracker. So whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the opportunity to present. We are Vivosense Medical. My name is Laura Santos, and I will present to you our product Ovula Ring. Next slide, please. So what is the problem space? 18% of couples fail to conceive. They are sent to IVF centers either too late or too early. This is also because there is a lack of self-use options to accurately detect fertile days in healthy women. This would help them to plan intercourse and increase pregnancy rates. Next slide, please. The solution is Ovula Ring. Ovula Ring consists of a ceramic sensor, which is plugged into a copolymer ring. It is a hormone-free, self-use medical device. The biosensor measures core body temperature every 5 minutes inside the vagina where it is not perceptible. The app gives retrospective and prognostic information about fertile days. Next slide, please. Unique is its real-time algorithm. This algorithm detects minor temperature fluctuation patterns that occur on fertile days. This analysis is worldwide unique and needs this high data density of 288 data points per day. Ovula Ring detects more than 80% of fertile days before ovulation, which are the most fertile days. We have this already. Next slide, please. This detection accuracy leads to higher conception rates than women experiencing who undergo one or even several IVF or ICSI treatments in Germany. Ovula Ring is already CE certified and authorized for EU market since 2013. Our total revenue 2023 was almost 650K. Several German health insurances reimburse Ovula Ring costs in Germany and pay for gynecologists who take care of patients using Ovula Ring. Next slide, please. Our next goals are to grow and scale with our recently acquired investment to break even. We would like to get help to plan our market entries in Switzerland, France, and Italy in 2025, especially when it comes to key opinion leaders and insurances and a better understanding of those markets. Also, we are very happy about advice concerning the development of our new app and the ongoing Ovula Ring rebranding, which shall be finished in the beginning of 2025. Thank you.
So it's time for a break.
Okay, so welcome to the second half of this Tech4Eva 2024 opening session. As you've heard, the question is, how do you bring a medtech solution to market? And if you think about it, that is the question for every entrepreneur, the question for angel investors, for VCs, and any member of the ecosystem. Because ideas and patents absolutely have inherent worth, but we all know that implementation, execution is where real value comes to be. So just 2 words about myself. Time is tight, so I'll just say something's bothering me. Basically, I am Swiss-German, born and brought up in Italy and mostly educated in the United States. I spent half of my life with multinationals, first with what is now Merck, Biopharma, and then with Medtronic. And the second half of my career, I spent as a contract employee or consultant, mostly in medtech with a little stint in biotech. I'm also my own entrepreneur, for which I chose EdTech. I have a school honing skills, coding and digital skills for young people before they reach university, and we do that online and in person here in Switzerland. But back to the great panel that we have today, which we are really delighted to have. They bring expertise across the whole product development and go-to-market access area. And we have a good number of questions we'd like to go through. Just to say, you have already met Laurent-Dominique Piveteau, and of course, we have Stefan. I will ask him to introduce himself in a moment, Stefan Troller. And no panel would be complete, right, if we didn't also have an entrepreneur. So glad to have Looi, that's how you pronounce it, yeah, who will be representing the entrepreneurs here. So as a way to introduce and to set the stage, and here is where I want to go to the next slide, Basically, we can start by defining what do we mean by bringing a product to market. And here's I propose to dissect it into 4 distinct pieces, which nevertheless, as you've very clearly heard from Laura Santos, have to be brought together, orchestrated into a complete roadmap. But I would say to you that, the order was changed. I wanted to say the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you research and you're very clear about your product market fit. That's the first thing. Secondly, you need to, of course, obtain regulatory approval. Second thing is engineering product development. Then you obtain regulatory approval. And finally, achieve your market access. And each of these steps is really critical. They each come with their own challenge and their own opportunities. And we really need to hone on each of those. As a person who's always worked in commercial and in business development, I just like to say, making sure that you get that product market fix right is absolutely essential. And it's essential because investors will ask you. They'll ask you, who cares? Who is going to go out of their way to part with their money to use your product? Who is going to assign a portion of their negotiated budget with their hospital, with their institution, to make sure that they can acquire your product? So this is what we encourage all innovators to really think about, not their general target audience, but which specific subset of that large target audience is really going to drive your success that you can take off and scale from there. And the second question, that you'll hear is, why now? Why now? We are not innovating in a vacuum, right? We are innovating in a context where there are alternative products, where there's direct competitors, indirect competitors, and we've got to make sure that we know how to speak about why this is the right time to bring this innovation to market. And then finally, you'll get the question something like, what's your secret sauce? And it's not always about the product and the way what the product does, but it's also about how you bring the product to market, which brings us right back, to the panel discussion that we have today. So, and before I ask any questions, I would like to have you introduce yourselves a little bit more and tell us about your experience. Laurent-Dominique, please.
Yeah. It's a strange situation to introduce yourself after having spoken to the audience before. So you already know me, so I'm Laurent-Dominique Piveteau, CEO of Debiotech. My background, I'm a scientist. I started my career as an academic scientist, but very quickly I moved to the dark side of that, and I added to my science education a business education, and that's where I started to do business development. But before that, I started to be interested by medical technology, and so I have been spending the last more than 20 years, I won't be more precise on that, in medtech. And always at the frontier between research, innovation, and commercialization, with a real passion about making sure that we can bring new technologies, new things to the market. And so I've been working with Debiotech since nearly 20 years, and I'm running the business. I've been running the business for the last 9 years.
And Stefan?
Okay. Hello, thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity. My name is Stefan Troller. My background is engineering. So I'm holding a master's degree in microengineering, which I got 20 years ago at EPFL. Since then, I've been working in engineering, obviously. A lot of in development of different type of products. A strong focus in medical, obviously. I've been heading a development group at Helbling. That's where I started 20 years ago, actually. I'm heading a development group in the field of optical sensing. So we did a lot of medical devices where it comes to sensing, sensors on the body, in the body, and also very particular in the eye and around the eye. So if you look at Helbling, it's really in a very broad sense development of medical products, and yeah, that's about me. I mean, since a couple of years, I'm now responsible for our offices in Bern, which is walking distance
One
from
of
here.
the medtech capitals of Switzerland.
Absolutely. And yeah, happy to be here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's me again. I'm Looi, CEO of Ablatus. Real pleasure to be here. So originally, I'm a scientist by training. So I did my PhD at Oxford and moved over to Cambridge to do a postdoc. And then suddenly found myself a decade over there working with startups, but also SMEs within the medtech space, but in partnerships and in a commercial development space. So I was working with Denmark, US, Asia, Hong Kong, places like that. So really exciting to be here innovating within the femtech space.
Thank you. Okay, so I'd like to start with a product market fit question, and that's for Laurent-Dominique sitting on my left. So Laurent-Dominique, what have you found to be most effective, in establishing a product market fit for a new medtech solution? And specifically, can you walk us through what are some of the advantages of undertaking early user or payer research before you even decide what your clinical trial may look like?
Okay, it's a very complete question.
I expect a complete answer.
Oh, thank you for the pressure. Well, in fact, what you described before is quite interesting. I mean, in your introduction. Because you mentioned the first question that comes is, are people really, are users ready to use your device? Have you done any type of research? And this is a nice way to introduce the question. I would add probably one more difficulty that we are facing, the fact that in this market, in fact, you are talking to three different people, the payer, the user, and the prescriber. In every other market I know, this is one single person. I mean, the one who is paying and using the device and who is deciding which device to use is the same person. I mean, that's what we do every day. And here we have three different people. I mean, three different mentalities and three different objectives. And as a company, you have to go through that. So that's one difficulty. And then the second one is you don't have, or it's very difficult to have direct access to patients. Because it's not authorized. I mean, you have to go through, and so it's difficult to get also this feedback. So what we have seen and what we have used is a lot of focus groups on the long term, and I think this is something that is sometimes neglected, but I insist it's an investment that companies need to do. And split between doctors, nurses, and patients, and really have them in different groups. You don't have the same answers, and it's important to have doctors because they have the long-term vision. It's important to have patients because they are facing sometimes the issue themselves, they live the disease, but nurses are also essential because they provide a lot of care, and they are really in the middle, and they have this global view. Then sometimes you need to be a little bit more creative, and there's no one single solution. But if you want to talk to payers, this is more complex. Because most of the time you come at the end, you say, okay, that I want to get that reimbursed. And it may be a little bit late. Or you start just by trying to fill up a line which is existing. What we have done in one spin-off company we created a few years ago was to involve payers as shareholders. In fact, we have 4 insurance companies who invested in the company. It was not easy, and I'm sorry to say they were not Swiss, but I'm sure we can improve that in the future. In fact, they were Dutch and French. But it has been very powerful because suddenly you also understand what are the needs, and you can come with really innovative solutions which are not existing today and which are redistributing the cost, and you have suddenly people doing this cost analysis with you, I mean this economic cost analysis with you. Also looking at foundations, involving foundations in the process. We have done that on several projects. Because you have a sort of neutral way to interact with the different actors. So, and all of that, I mean, to your second question, I'm trying to make it short, but really you said early in the process, yes, from day one. I mean, you need to have that from day one and reiterate it all the way. I mean, all the time.
Yeah, and if I could just make a quick comment. I was at Swiss Biotech Day not long ago, and there was a panel on reimbursement market access, and they basically concluded, and perhaps the pharma budget or the biotech budgets may be bigger, but that you should be doing payer research at the stage of indication selection. When you have a molecule, you have looking at different indications. Where is the unmet need biggest? Where is their willingness to pay? Where are the budgets? So it's just not always feasible, but it's just something to keep in mind to really understand how you're going to access the payers early on, if possible. Okay, so my second question is for Stefan. Oops. Excuse me. Yes. So essentially, we know that product development is always costly, and we know that sometimes we have make or buy decisions when it comes to product development. And can you walk us through some of the considerations and risks on deciding whether to develop internally or develop, externally? What are the considerations and what are the trade-offs?
It's a good question. I mean, if a startup doesn't yet come with a technology or something that is, internally, usually they have the ideas and they want to get going. It's a usual question that comes up at some point in the development. Should I develop it or should I buy a technology? So, our reflections are it's a couple of things you can look at. First of all, you should understand whether your IP or the thing the ownership have, is it a technology? Is your product a technology-driven product, or is it more a business solution, a business case? Let's take the example of electric cars. Is it an electric car, or is it all around car sharing? Whether whatever the question is going to be, it's going to be a different answer. If it's more technology-driven, obviously the answer would more or less be, okay, maybe you should develop it on your own, because then you have strong IP on that. If it's a service or a business model that is your USP, then probably you're going to buy the technologies in. The second thing is also you need to ask yourself, what does it take? Or a startup needs to ask himself, what does it take to replicate? How much effort is behind that? Depending on that answer, also it might be important to say, okay, I buy it, or I spend the effort of developing on my own with the risk of being copied. At the end, our recommendations is always, if you buy it from a good partner, from the right partner with the right conditions and the right partnership and the right mindset, it's always cheaper. At the cost of being maybe copied relatively easier, or easier if you develop on your own.
But when you say buying from a partner, you don't mean working with the product development engineering organization?
Whatever it is. I mean, you can also just buy a technology, license the technology, or you develop something on your own. And depending on if you can license it and you have the right partner, you should do that, because it's usually cheaper. Okay. At the risk of being copied maybe at some point.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And the thing is, the second part of your question is, what are the thoughts about having somebody externally
co-development,
and co-develop that. For me, there's always two areas, or two let's say extreme ways to build up a startup. One is the traditional way. You generate everything internally. You build up the skills. You hire the people. You get the capacity to actually do your stuff. Or in the other side of the spectrum, it's more a virtual type of company. You're the founder, CEO, CTO, maybe most probably a CTO. And then you do everything with partnerships. It's a bit the question of you gonna go and buy the milk, or you wanna breed the cow, right? It's the truth somewhere lies in between, obviously, it's really there are a couple of things which are obviously intrinsically advantages of having a partnership, because if you have partnership, you have a, you can ramp up very quickly, you can ramp down. It's very flexible. It's a very dynamic way to interact. It also allows you to, if the network, the partnerships you work with are transparent, there's kind of a self-control of all the partners involved. There's a review process happening. It's a different thing if you do that all internally, or if you have good partners which challenge you on a couple of topics. So there are a couple of considerations there, which are certainly advantages of having some type of partnership to some degree, depending.
I mean, based on my observation, I would say that saving on partnerships will end up costing you more, and you'll take longer, and time is money. So you do need to probably bring some professional input early on, because you'll be very thankful later. That's what my observation.
I mean, Laura told that as well in her presentation. It's good that you have the essential skills internalized, and then you can complement with the ones which are not very.
Get the talent where it is.
Absolutely.
And when you can access it. Okay, Looi, so I understand that you're really focusing on developing your product with input from the market. Can you talk us through a little bit how you've done that at Luna or at Ablatus, and what have you learned? Is there anything that surprised you and that you'd like to share with this audience?
Thank you, absolutely. Yes, so we have been doing a lot of, because we want to be market-led, as you say, at the end of the day, this is a great innovation, but who's going to pay for it? But also, as Laura mentioned earlier today, is that, the cost is very high later if you're going to change it, but also you want to address the largest risk at the beginning as well. And also, as you've also mentioned, investing into market research is very important. And that's exactly what we've done at Luna by Ablatus. So we have done several different workshops separately, also with patients, with clinicians, with payers, commissioners, all the different groups of stakeholders, but have also conducted a global market research as well. Because at the end of the day, we think it's great, but what about others? And we also want to do this with third party as well, so that there's no biases in the reporting. We actually want to see the data. And what's been surprising is actually the value that we get from this exercise. Within 3 weeks, you get a global opinion of what do people really want, what is the current practice, things that you wouldn't get from attending, unless a few years of very dedicated conferencing. You can get that very quickly, actually. So it's investment in terms of time, speaking to the right people, but also always gather the requirements from the very beginning, both the market requirements, the product requirements, all the different KPIs. The earlier you do, the more you know, so you can solve it. You have more time, and investors would appreciate that very much.
Yeah, I think it makes you be able to pitch to investors in a very different way, because you really have the knowledge of the different stakeholders, and that's a comfort, because the investor wants to know not only about the technology but the product market fit, and when you have that understanding, I think it really makes a difference. Which brings me, thank you, brings me right back to regulatory and investors. Laurent, how do you balance innovation with regulatory compliance so that your medtech solution, satisfies both the investors and the ultimate user?
Well, it's about regulatory, and so I think this is an important part, and sometimes neglected by startups at the beginning. I would say the first thing is to make sure that you face the regulatory environment as it is, and don't try to underestimate it. That's one first element. Then there's also a tendency we see of companies trying to solve too many things at a time. So it's back to the focus, and it's important because every time you add something, it looks like a nice add-on, additional feature. And this little feature or this little way of presenting the thing or doing the extra step may mean a lot from a regulatory perspective.
So sometimes less is more.
Yes, and sometimes more may become very, very painful. So really look at what you want to have and what is essential. And this brings us back to the discussion with the different panels. I mean, it's to define what are the critical elements, these minimum elements, and then start to think about generation, because it will take time. And so you may come with the first generation with some of the features, simple ones, the essential ones, and maybe not complete, maybe not perfect. I think there are some nice examples for example, in the field of diabetes, where new systems for continuous measurement, it took them more than 10 years to get to a certain level where they were not relying on former devices to be used. So it was a step-by-step thing, and so they could build the market, and they went step by step. And I think this is something that we should think about, and that every company should think about.
So it's sometimes difficult to be the first in a new market.
It's difficult, and then you need to really focus on what is critical and what you want to change.
Thanks. Stefan, help us think a little bit how you when a startup comes to you or an innovator comes to you and wants your help to develop a product, how do you help them think about how you translate a market need that you may have researched into a technical solution? What are the considerations and steps that you go through?
I'm happy to refer also to the presentation of Laura. She gave a very good overview about this topic. One thing I would like to point out on this is what we recommend always, and our approach is a risk-driven development, right? So first of all, what we always say to our customer, our startups we work with, look at the risks. What are the risks? And look at your product from different perspectives. Look from patient side, patient risks, security. So cybersecurity things you need to look at, IP, functionality. What is the complexity you're looking for? Keep it simple, not do everything on the same time and be defocused. Really take it from different perspectives, and then come up and put that down and try to really address the major risk at the very beginning, and look at the development as a risk mitigation procedure from a
So you focus on your goal, but you do everything to mitigate those risks.
Don't. I mean, of course you have. You wanna show something to the investors and stuff like that. That's also an aspect which needs to be taken care of. But at the end, there's a risk mitigation you need to do from the very beginning. There's always a lot of risk at the very beginning, and hopefully not much left at the end.
Okay, thanks.
And maybe one thing I can add here on this, there's always this triangle of things we try to explain to our clients. Is there's the scope of your product, like the quality you're looking for, the performance. There's the cost that the development cost that is associated with that type of quality you're looking for, and there's time to market. Mm-hmm. Those are the three aspects, and you should wisely choose a strategy how to actually balance those three goals. And the trade-offs are somewhere in the decisions. You can ask how much user research I'm going to do, how much functionality I would like to develop, or do I follow different development paths? There's this technology. Do I do both in parallel? Do I decide early on, later on? All those are trade-offs that need to be wisely done in
and
the selection.
And that's where you
of the
see
roadmap.
also the advantage of investors that understand your industry, that they are not unduly pushing for time to market.
I mean, you can push, but then there's the consequence. There's a consequence.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, and the baseline is don't take shortcuts. It's low-hanging fruits might be good, but they don't serve you so much, and you might, a problem comes up later on.
Yeah, that's right.
Do your homework.
Yeah, do your homework. Good message, good message. So before I turn to the audience, potentially for questions, Looi, would you like to tell us what you learned from your research, and did it change the way that you were thinking about the way your product needs to be developed? What did you learn?
Absolutely, yes. Well, first of all, we learned a lot, that actually every stakeholder have different metrics, different pain points that you need to solve. And so you really need to bear that in mind. And some of them are also time sensitive as well. So definitely do it from the very beginning so you can de-risk those things. But also I think the research has really given us a lot of credibility when speaking to investors and also future partners as well. Because at the end of the day, it's data. The numbers that we see, the comments from other people. So that actually gives us even more confidence to move forward. Also really helps with the grant applications as well. So I would say definitely speak to as many people as possible and keep an open mind.
That's right. We live in the age of data, so not having data today would be particularly challenging. I'd like to turn it over to the audience to ask, I have a final question for the panel, but I think you might have a burning question, something you'd like to ask. I'll give you a minute to think, and please, I'm sure you have some questions. I see people taking notes, so I think you might have some ideas. There we go.
But also, I think there's a bias because when start out, you want to pitch your idea, you want to show that innovation at the core, you want to share that it's a game changer in the market. So you want to be the first. So how would you suggest to balance this articulation that you want to be innovative enough, but and then build first, but also kind of dilute the risk of being the first?
I don't know who wants to take the question.
Thank you. You will continue. No, but I think what you just said before, it's all a question of risk, and you have to do your. There's no one single solution, and you see that in a lot of markets. Sometimes being the first is essential and will bring you success. Sometimes it's not true, but you have to keep in mind what are the advantages and the risk with each of them. I mean, if you want to be the first, if you want to come to a new unexplored market, you need to prepare, you need to be ready also to move very rapidly and adapt. And this is where you need to have these interactions with your different customers. So you are adding difficulty, but if you are successful, yes. That's
and maybe one option to add from my side is if you could possibly come up with 2 infographics for your product idea, one which is perhaps less de-risked, one which is perhaps riskier, and get those user feedbacks and understand the trade-offs. So really just make a picture out of it. Picture speaks 1,000 words. Very difficult to turn it in a very clear infographic that people would understand, but then you can get feedback and you can make decisions, based on feedback. I think you also wanted to add something.
And take wise decisions about de-risking your activities. So making sure that you keep it simple, and but you're always able to adjust, and you iterate on all the aspects which might influence a development and a way and a decision, right? It's never bad to change a plan, but the worst thing is if you don't have a proper plan, right?
Any more questions from the audience? There we go.
Hello, thank you very much for the discussion. My name is Dem Aliye, I'm a health economist. This question is for Laurent. If it's possible for you to walk us a little bit through, because you mentioned there is important to consider the product from the view of user, from the view of payer, from the view of, who was the? Prescribers, that's correct. So how do you basically do at your work to connect those 3 fruits? Because I also find it difficult myself.
I'm sorry. I think there's no easy solution. This is something that needs to be done. It's building this relationship. I think that it's really the role of the startup to do that, and to build this network. It's an investment that you need to do. Is there a recipe? I'm not sure there's a real recipe that would be successful. It's really moving towards the people, but keeping that in mind all time.
And you mentioned before doing focus groups with the different stakeholders. That's also a possibility.
Yes, but you need to put that in place. You need to establish these contacts. It's a lot about persons. You meet people, and these people will open you doors. So you need to be really open-minded.
And as some colleagues here that were at Medtronic with me, when we were at Medtronic, we never had a product launch unless we had a limited release before. Very few geographic areas, maybe within a country. So you get user feedback. You learn, you adapt. That's also a kind of a safe way to prepare a full market launch. Get customer feedback there.
Maybe one thing is always ask a question before you go into and do testing on the market and to, I don't know what type of studies you're probably going to do on the market or in the field. Ask yourself, what is the question you want to like to answer, and focus on that one. Generate whatever is needed to answer this question, but don't defocus on, I would like to answer all the questions, all the possible questions with one, call it test, right? Try to be and iterate then quickly, and be always focused on what you try. A typical thing we always experience is prototyping. Prototype should always do everything and should test everything and be very, 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 very open and say, okay, this is what I need to de-risk. This is what I need to test, and that's what I'm building for. That answering exactly this question, nothing else. And then you're fast, you're quick, and you can adapt accordingly, right?
Thank you. And I have a final question for both of you. Basically, if you're a young femtech company and like everybody, you have some limited budget, but you're interested in working with Debiotech or with Helbling, what are the possibilities? Commissioned R&D, co-development, licensing out. Maybe can I start with you, Stefan? What are the options in terms of working with Helbling?
Well, we are like a purely engineering service, contract engineering company, right?
Okay.
So we are independent. So we don't. There's no technology or manufacturing technology we need to bring in. So it's independency that is important. And the options are very very widespread. I mean, we start usually with the ideation process. Innovation together we do it is our mission statement. So it actually reflects how we do business. It's creating ideas and close collaboration with our clients, and bringing them to industrialized product where manufacturing is up and running. And there's the choice from A to Z, and obviously for startups it's often in the early stage in the process, and then the beauty of what we might be able to provide is projects. They always fail at the interfaces of disciplines, and not like better
That's
mechanical engineering here and there, and it's always in the interfaces, and that's probably something that we can bring into the
Avoid
basket.
failure at the interface of disciplines.
Having a reduced number of disciplines, because there's a broad area of experience we can
Very
bring.
nice. Thank you. And you, Laurent?
Well, a lot of things have already been said. So we are also an engineering company, so a lot of similar elements to what you just described. What I think is quite special about us is that in the past we had a first history developing our own devices. We have done that for some time, and now we move to the engineering side. And we were also a small, medium-sized company. So we know what a lot of startups are going through. I mean, developing devices from A to Z with limited resources. And we did a lot of mistakes. I think we all do mistakes. And I think what really engineering companies can bring you is just to avoid to redo the mistakes we have done in the past, and go quicker. And time is essential. Time is money, and you don't have enough money, so that's always the problem.
Well, I think the key messages we heard is do your research, do your market research, and mitigate risk, and work with professionals. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you, Marta, and thanks to all panelists. So I invite you to go back on your seats. Thanks for sharing your insights. your learnings and for those interested to continue the conversation. So we'll get the opportunity soon. And now we're going to move to the second group of startups. So we have 8 international startups. And while I'm getting ready, I'll invite Camilla. I think she's in the room with me today. So welcome, Camilla. Yes, I have the clicker. And as a reminder to all entrepreneurs, Camilla being the first 2 minutes sharp. We've done a toss coin with Anna to determine who is the good and the bad cop, so you'll guess at the end. No, joke. Joke aside. So welcome, Camila. You're coming from Barcelona, represented an Argentinian startup, Mamotech, and you'll tell us more about them.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. My name is Camila. I'm from Argentina, and I'm a co-founder of Mamotest. Breast cancer kills every year 7,000 women, and this is a consequence of a global shortage of medical radiologists and a broken system. Mamotest is a femtech digital solution providing care solutions by democratizing access to screening and diagnosis and providing an efficient path to treatment. How it works, we offer a modular, simple, end-to-end solution that combines technology and service to guarantee a memorable solution and experience to all patients. We work on 3 services: screening programs, providing results within 24 hours using teleradiology assisted by AI, patient navigation programs to guarantee the reduction of time to treatment on patients while guaranteeing emotional support throughout the process, and education and training programs for patient generation. All our services are conducted in our digital platform called Boulder, where we are a fully data-structured solution, so we can guarantee security and traceability throughout the whole system by connecting via an API with any medical devices.
30 seconds.
And with this, we are promoting and generating an ecosystem where all stakeholders meet, interact, and benefit from, guaranteeing evidence and data-based healthcare systems. We have proved our B2C, B2B, and B2G business models, working with pharma companies, insurance companies, and governments. So far, we have reached more than 1 million patients. We are operating already in Argentina, Mexico, Costa Rica, Spain, and expanding to Brazil and Paraguay. And we have had great support from our strategic partners, MSD, Johnson & Johnson, and Amazon Web Services. We are now in the process of fundraising $1.5 extension round $1 million in a convertible note to make more efficient and accelerate our tech development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Camila. I'll take it back. So now we're going to continue online with the 7 next startups, and let's move to the US and in New York, welcoming Marisa from Deep Look Medical. So they have developed a technology platform specially designed for the visualization of suspicious masses in dense breasts. So Marisa.
Hi, everybody. Great to hear you. Great to see you. Let's just continue with breast cancer. So I'm glad that I was following our predecessor. But we are the CEO of Deep Look Medical. We are visually enhancing medical imaging. We're a one-click measurement, segmentation, and measurement and visualization tool for dense breast tissue or any dense tissue. We're already FDA cleared in the UK, Canada, and in Israel. We already have 2 patents issued, global patent protection, and we are in the clinical and the commercialization stage right now. And we're not displacing any technology that's already there. We're the missing puzzle piece. And so we are working to work with the OEMs, work with the mammography, work with the other detection and AI teams, and also work with the risk triage scores, where we're the visualization that doesn't exist any longer. We're also FDA cleared across all imaging pathways, X-ray, CT, MR, and mammograms and ultrasound, and we're just starting in breast. Next, please. And we work specifically with companies. We already have 4 commercialization contracts, and we've just launched commercial with one of the largest mammography and imaging technologies. And we are going commercial right now. We help to reduce imaging, in reducing diagnostic mammograms, to reducing MRIs. We are planning to be reducing biopsies, and we're helping companies adhere to their standards, which most of them are out of. Where you can also be a tool that's used to train your AI and used in precision medicine. And we're a tool that can augment and can be integrated into other software and hardware technologies, which is really exciting about us. First and foremost, we're in breast imaging, but we're going to breast ultrasound, lung, CT, thyroid ultrasound, prostate, and very many others. We have an easy integration platform, and we work with others. So we're looking for capital. We're raising a $5 million Series A right now. We will be going after a strategic acquisition, and we look to partner with others in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Marisa. So we'll now welcome Leslie from Harmonia Healthcare, that is developing a platform using cutting-edge functional medicine and scientific-based resolution for untreated and diagnosed female diseases. So Leslie?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Leslie Gautam here from Harmonia Healthcare. Next slide, please. So our initial focus is treating severe nausea or vomiting, or otherwise known as hyperemesis gravidarum, which impacts about 10 to 14% of pregnancies. It has significant quality of life as well as adverse health outcomes. So about 1 in 3 women with HG actually do not have a pregnancy that makes it to term. Currently, there's a significant broken care model. There's about $1 billion in direct costs to the ER. It's the leading cause of why women actually go to the ER for treatment during their pregnancy. Next slide. Our intent is to radically improve the HG care paradigm. So today, patients typically go to the ER when they're in a crisis or acute care situation. We will be working in concert with the OBGYN. Next slide. We are partnering with a clinic that's already delivering proven care results. They've significantly reduced cost savings up to 95% in ER visits. Next slide. Based off of the proven care model, they have delivered superior health outcomes, such as increasing weight, as well as significant healthcare costs, also facilitating women to continue their employment. Next slide. We also plan to develop a novel prognostic so women can take a test ahead of pregnancy, ahead of conception, to understand their risk level for HG or severe nausea and vomiting. And we will then refer patients to our Harmonia centers for early intervention. Next slide.
30 seconds.
Our business model is 2 business units. So 1, direct patient care through brick and mortar, as well as telehealth. And then on the right-hand side, innovative scientific research as a result of our patient care model. And that's the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. And I'm now going to welcome Kirtika from Vital Start Health, that has developed the first reproductive and maternity mental health using virtual reality, for clinical guided care from preconception, birthing to postpartum. So Kirtika?
Thank you. Excited to be here. Thanks so much, Tech4Eva. I'm Kirtika Parmeshwaran. I'm a Wharton alum and the founder and CEO of Vital Start Health. Next slide, please. Our vision at Vital Start is to provide delightful, effective experiences for the $500 billion women's mental health opportunity. We're initially beginning with maternity care as our beachhead, which is largest expenditures for US employers. Next slide, please. Everybody wants to hold the baby, but who holds the mom? That's the question we are always asking at Vital Start Health. We're looking to address the 1 million women in the US and 20% around the world that are suffering from mood disorders through maternity. And we know that maternal deaths are rising with mental health as a key factor. Next slide, please. Our goal is to disrupt this and the existing care approaches with delightful, effective, and engaging care with the women at the center, but our platform also for partners and families. Next slide, please. Today, typically, cognitive behavioral therapy approaches are used for psychotherapy, but these are imaginary. But with virtual reality, we can now bring psychoeducation and coping techniques and be much more effective than what's out there and be more engaging as well. We now have a platform, Courage, that is patent pending, award winning, and I'm really glad to say completely based on health insurance and reimbursements, making it free for the parents and being paid for by employers as well as payers. We have, great traction. Next slide, please. With payers, hospital systems, as well as research. We've done some initial research showing outcomes and 3 to 9 times ROI. Next slide, please. And we're currently launching a group coaching program. So we have coaching, self-guided app, as well as psychotherapy. Next slide, please. We're looking to go after $100 million in the next 5 years as we go after the complete women's health spectrum. Next slide, please. And we're seen as a pioneer in this space. We've won numerous awards, raised an initial pre-seed. I'm raising a $2 million seed. Would love to hear from investors as well as health providers and employers as we go after this area with this phenomenal team. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Kritika. So I will cut you short here, but thanks. And for those interested to continue the conversation, I invite you to connect with her. You can find her.
Looking forward. Thank you.
So we'll now move to the Canada, Toronto, with Derek from Cost Medical. So Cost Medical is personalizing gynecological devices for precision care using 3D printing, cloud software, and AI, with a particular focus on pelvic rehabilitation. Derek?
Hi, next slide, please. Every woman is different. Our goal is to become the world leader in precision gynecological devices by advancing care much like the current established billion-dollar markets of custom orthotics, dental, and hearing, but in gynecology. You might be wondering, if we've never met, why is a guy like me starting a women's health company? My claim to fame is I've built the most utilized functional urological diagnostic system in the world, currently being used by thousands of clinicians on hundreds of thousands of patients, and the company was private equity backed and exited for $750 million. There's a picture of me and my grandma here before my family moved from Hong Kong to Canada. And when I was working in the field, I watched my grandmother go through pelvic floor issues, knew some of the best doctors, and couldn't get her the care I thought she deserved. Next slide, please. Now, my grandma's not alone. Pelvic floor disorders such as incontinence and prolapse affect half of all women within their lifetime. Known therapies include pessaries, temporary devices placed inside of the vagina to support organs. They're currently fit by trial and error with lots of issues. Pelvic physical therapy is the fastest growing subsegment in physical therapy, but has limited and variable effectiveness with a fast advancing digital health market. Surgery in this field has been mired by over 100,000 lawsuits in the US alone, leading the FDA to ban transvaginal mesh for prolapse repair. The replacement surgery native tissue repair currently has a 50% 5-year recurrence rate. Next slide, please.
30 seconds.
At Cosm, we're developing Gynathotics, the world's first personalized gynecological platform. We've achieved Health Canada and FDA clearance. We've 4 patents to date. We've demonstrated improved patient satisfaction on all patients to date with published clinical research. And we're really excited, next slide, to bring personal pelvic health and really advanced care, much like the markets of custom orthotics, dental, and hearing. And we're currently raising a Series A to drive market and expand applications. Excited to chat with anybody that wants to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. And now we're going to move to Hamid from Namida Lab. So Namida Lab is a product stage company that have developed new cancer screening tests based on the biomarkers that you can find in tears. So Hamid, sorry.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm Hamid Moghadam, CEO and founder of Namida. Next slide, please. I'm not going to delve on this too much because 2 other companies already talked about issues with breast cancer. Older technology that's used, outdated technology of mammography that gives poor outcomes. There has been a distinct lack of innovation, at least in the cost structure. The cost structure of screening keeps going up with addition of new imaging technologies on top of other imaging technologies. And there's a matter of inconvenience, and that's a reason that that adherence to breast cancer screening is stuck at around below 50% in the United States. The solutions are not scalable because with what we have spent so far to date on screening, we're not going to be able to spend more of that and get the same results. And the system is just way too expensive. Next slide, please. Our solution, we believe that the next innovation in screening is going to be a lab test and not another imaging test. It does not depend on the physiology of the body, as the other two companies already talked about the issues with dense breasts. Around 50% of women in the United States and Europe, and more than 50% in Asia and other locations. We believe that the sample for these tests can be collected at home or at the primary care at low cost with a scalable solution with convenience and only using imaging as a follow-up. We have won a number of awards for innovations, patented technology around the world. And next slide, please.
30 seconds.
We use biomarkers in tears, and tears are very easily to self-collect. They can be collected by anybody at home or any other place. It's low cost because many of the processes that blood has to go through in a laboratory, your body already takes care of in development of tears. It has high dynamic range of biomarkers because it's a filtrate of plasma. And as I mentioned, it's highly concentrated, which means it translates itself to an inexpensive lab test. Next slide, please. And breast cancer is basically the beginning for us. We're working on 5 other types of cancer, plus a diagnostic for breast cancer.
Thank you, very much appreciated. So let's now move to Mexico with Gabriela from Sin Reglas. So Sin Reglas is the first fintech startup that is focusing on comprehensive menopausal care with intention to positively impact talent retention and the health of women above 40. So Gabriela.
Thank you. So I'm Gabriela Rojas, founder and CEO of Sin Reglas. Very excited to be here in Tech4Eva. Next, please. So we have a huge challenge in front of us. Menopause is a taboo. By 2030, in Mexico, there will be 27 million women experiencing menopause, 100 million women in Latin America, 40% of the workforce. And according to Forbes, the cost of menopause in terms of loss of productivity to the economy and in costs related to the healthcare system is estimated at $810 billion globally each year. We know that 8 out of 10 people know little to nothing about menopause, and that 9 out of 10 women in menopause have symptoms. 1 in 2 women report that menopause has an impact on their work, and 1 in 2 women are actually diagnosed with a concurrent disease. Next, please. We're a one-stop shop for women in menopause. That includes community and conversation so that women do not experience menopause alone, a Meno test, which is an online diagnostic and health screening tool, health education and prevention, Meno coaching so that together we can learn about menopause, managing symptoms, and adopting healthy habits in terms of nutrition, sleep, hygiene, stress management, and exercise, the first virtual care clinic for women over 40, a menopause tracker with AI, and a marketplace with everything for menopause. Next, please. We're also building inclusive workplaces for women in menopause in our B2B2C model, including diagnostic, awareness workshops, Meno coaching, virtual clinic, and impact report and policy design. Next, please.
30 seconds.
Both models have a synergy whereby the second one lets you acquire users for the first one. We want companies, insurance companies, and pharma to offer Sin Reglas to women. Next, please. We have created a movement of corporate, pharma, and government and academic institutions. Yes, next, please. We're fueling a women's movement. Next, please. To have impact in terms of access to knowledge and quality comprehensive care and improved well-being and better health. Next, please. We have the vision to transform the menopause experience for 1 million Hispanic women. Next, please. We have the team. We're founded, funded, directed, and operated by women for women. And we want to partner. So if you're interested, please contact us. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriela. And the last startup to be presented today from this amazing batch of 2024 is Galena Innovation with Ashley. They developed the HANA cervical cup that is using negative pressure to keep the cervix closed as a solution to preterm birth. So Ashley?
Thank you. My name is Ashley Crafton, and I am the CEO of Galena Innovations. We are developing the HANA cervical cup, the solution to preterm birth. I'm a labor nurse by trade, and after witnessing preterm birth for many years and crying with too many families, I had no choice but to go after this. 15 million babies are born preterm yearly with devastating consequences. The impetus for each early birth is unique, but has one commonality: early cervical change. In pregnancy, the cervix keeps the fetus inside the womb. At delivery, the role reverses, and it then facilitates birth by softening, shortening, and dilating. Sometimes contractions happen or water breaks, but without cervical change, birth can't result. The cervix is made up of collagen, the scaffolding for the body. Positive pressure through pregnancy breaks down collagen. When this happens, it leads to cervical change and then birth. To prevent delivery, collagen breakdown must be stopped. Aside from medications that don't work and cause harm, all other preterm birth prevention techniques focus on compressing the cervix closed. This only further weakens the cervical tissue and can lead to birth. In fact, compressing the cervix is a technique used in labor induction to create cervical change. Next. Our technology strengthens the cervix rather than adding to collagen breakdown. The patented HANA cervical cup applies tension, causing collagen realignment and stiffness. Stiff cervices don't change, and these babies don't deliver early. We recently concluded our first in-human study, which increased cervical stiffness by 38% long-term, while demonstrating safety. We're raising a seed round right now, and we'd love to have any of you involved, and we are so excited to be a part of Tech4Eva. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. And thanks again, and congratulations to these 17 startups representing 11 countries, so amazing. And we have two good news. So the first is that we are on time, so congratulations to the entire team. And second, there's only Anna and Jerome sitting between us and the drinks. So Hannah, back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Jerome. And as you maybe have realized, Jerome is a popular name nowadays. So we have a Jerome here, and we will have a Jerome coming speaking. As Lan told earlier in her presentation, Tech4Eva is an initiative between EPFL Innovation Park and Groupe Mutuel. So right now, it is my pleasure to welcome up Jerome Michaud for some closing words that he will add a little bit more from his perspective. So please, Jerome, please join us on the stage. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Only me between you and the drinks, so I'm going to be short. I think we draw the curtains down on this new session of Tech4Eva. We have had insightful pitches. We have had a great presentation and groundbreaking idea, of course. We feel and see the power of innovation, which is great and which brings the femtech industry forward. I cannot say from A to Z, but at least we have been from Ablatus Luna to Vivo Sense Medical, so from A to V. And we went through great and passionate people presenting with a lot of energy their vision, their thought, their idea. And I think it's not just technology we saw today. We also see a real wish and will to bring something new, we can say, to the world. Sounds a bit heavy, but it is. For me, it's a bit also a kind of surprise, and it shows the taboo we broke down today. Let's just see. In a Swiss, very conservative country, a mid-age guy, testosterone-driven, basically quite conservative also for itself, is talking about menstrual health and menopause in such a broad element. I think it shows simply, it testaments the way we are moving into those topics. And it also shows that nowadays these are not taboos anymore. They should be treated not only at a human and individual level, but also, as we saw, at the company level. And finally, I just want to thank you. Thank you, the organizational team and the EPFL, for the collaboration. Thank you, all participants. But of course, thank you, the startups. You are the heartbeat of the Tech4Eva initiative. Keep on striving. There will be ups and downs, but believe me, with all the energy I saw today and all the support you will get through. Keep being passionate, never give up, and all the success and a lot of pleasure to you and your teams. Thank you.
So thank you, Jerome. So Hannah, do you have any takeaway from today?
I have many, but I think the strongest thing that stays with me is really that we all started Tech4Eva 4 years ago with really the goal to create the community and to create a movement for women's health. We've seen now that we've had almost 200 startups applying. We see that for every year we get more and more international, we get more and more applications, and it gets harder and harder for us here to be part of the selection, but this is a problem I'm really carrying proudly. So yeah, I think for me it's really the growth and the fact that we are a movement, we are an equity-free accelerator, we are really here to really bring improvement and accelerate women's health. And for that, I really want to thank each and every one of you here in the room and in front of the screens to be part of and to really make it happen.
Yeah.
From your end, I mean, you've also been part since the first year. What stays with you after today?
No, I think what's great is to see the ecosystem, expanding. We see more and more startups, but as well mentors, industrial partners willing to share their learnings, their energy, their experience to bring the solution faster to the market. So that's amazing to see, and congratulations again to the steering partners. And I really now encourage you to really engage. This is just the end of the beginning, right? So we're kicking off here the 4th edition of the program. There are going to be a lot of roadshows locally, internationally, so please come, and we'll invite, just as we're ramping up things here, for those mentors, entrepreneurs, partners to come on the stage to take a picture, and for all the others, let's enjoy the apéro and talk. And for those online, sorry, no apéro, you can go in the fridge, potentially you get one. We'll enjoy, but thanks for joining, and see you soon.
Thank you very much.